You're listening to Gen XP. Let's play some games.
Hi friends, thanks for listening, and as a reminder, if you are not already a member, we do offer exclusive benefits to our Patreon or Gumroad supporters. You can listen in on talkback episodes between each of our game sessions, gain access to our Discord channel, and get to check out all of the art and content related to making of the show. Check us out if that sounds like your cup of tea. Patreon.com/GenXP, or you can check us out at genxpgames.gumroad.com. Previously on the Shattered World of Voar, we followed Avo and Theric as they picked their way gingerly through a landscape of thorn bushes and shadow-filled canyons. A pack of kobolds down from the snowy mountains took up hunting the pair, and despite the efforts for negotiation, things took a turn for the worse, and blood was spilled. Emerging the victors, and with one of the scaly creatures still alive to tell the tale, Theric and Avo turned their attention to the south, and the tips of rooftops visible over a distant tree line. As we left off, the friends had taken up camp in a small forest surrounding this village. We pick up with them the next morning after a night camping under the stars. Welcome back to the Shattered World of Voar. You have spent the night camping in a tree line, not too far, maybe 100 to 200 yards away from, well, small village. It's maybe, from your few glimpses of it, Theric, when you were flying around, you saw maybe 7 to 8 buildings in a rough semicircle. You didn't get a solid look at it, but you figured after a night's rest, dealing with the kobolds yesterday, that you could take a little bit of time, rest up in the wood line, and then make your way towards this village. You both have woken for the day, tending to your equipment, making sure you are ready for anything that might come today. Theric, I believe you're studying spells this morning, and
I didn't cast any yesterday.
Okay, so you're just maintaining the ones that you had from yesterday. Okay. What would you guys like to do?
Shall we check out this town? Village? Whatever.
Sure. You want me to scout it out a little bit?
Sure, if you'd like.
How are you going to go about doing that? Are you going to be on foot or flying?
I mean, if there's people, don't you want to keep your wings?
The first thing I'm going to do is fly up high and just kind of hover a ways away where we're at and see if I see movement.
Okay, yeah, you're still a few hundred yards away. You fly up above the tree line, up into the morning air. A little bit of dew on your tunic, and not only do you see no movement, there's no wisps of smoke that would be common to a village, any village. I mean, there'd be somebody would have a fire going for something. Somebody would be cooking breakfast. Something. You see even one building that looks very similar from the distance to be like a blacksmith or a smithy of some sort of forge, because there's a heavy-duty like chimney that's there, but no smoke coming from that. No movement, no smoke.
So I'm just going to hover for a while and see if I see anything.
Okay.
Give it a good 10 minutes.
From that distance?
Yeah.
Okay. And while Theric is flying up above, what are you doing, Avo?
Just gonna approach the edge of the tree line.
Towards the village?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you trying to do that with openly or with stealth?
How thick are the trees?
It's they're fairly thick. You notice that from where you're at, it looks like the tree line ends about 100 to 200 feet from the village. There's like an open field around.
I'm not trying to be stealthy, but I'm just going to the edge of the wood. I'm not going out into the open.
Okay. So you pick your way through the trees. The trees, there are paths that look like they're more natural, like maybe deer or some foxes or something might pass through here on a regular basis. But a lot of the trees in the woods in this area, there are still thorn bushes, much like what you would pass that field, but they're not stopping your movement. They do clog parts of the forest. Theric, you spend a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, watching for any sign of movement. Go ahead and give me a perception check. while you're doing that. And Avo, you creep to the edge of the tree line. What'd you get?
6.
A 6. Okay. Avo, you creep to the edge of the tree line, and it kind of opens up from there. So you see like tilled fields, wooden fences that are in disrepair, and there is no crop growing in these fields. It looks dry and as if nothing has grown here for quite some time. You see the edges of a number of buildings across these fields, maybe 100, 200 feet away. Looks like there's a semicircle or almost a full circle of buildings with maybe a small building in the middle. But you see no movement or signs of inhabitants either. And the fields, as I mentioned, dry. It looks like there's been nothing planted here for years. But it does look. The grass is not grown back over. There are no weeds. It's just tilled fields. And a few broken wooden fences.
I'll fly down towards the tree line and start making my way up one.
Just waiting for him to get back.
Within moments, I think Theric would probably join you. And the two of you are standing at the edge of the fields looking over at this village. There is I will say that as the sun is still climbing in the sky, it's early morning, the clouds are kind of breaking, there's still some long shadows cast everywhere into different places, but you do see at one point a broken sign that was in shadow and next to one of the buildings that's kind of hanging, and it looks like you're a long ways away still, so you can't quite read it, but it looks like there's a name on the sign that's kind of hanging and creaking in the wind.
Looked deserted to me.
I haven't seen anything either. You want to check out the houses?
Well, there was looks like a skull and crossbones on the map, so I don't... But, yeah, let's check it out.
So I will,
Are you
are we
gonna...
just going to walk in, or do we want to sneak in?
I'm gonna walk in. If you want to
There is a trail.
sneak from a different angle, then that's fine.
You do see a trail through the field not too far from you, so to walk in, it would be the easiest and most logical perspective on how to get in.
I can just hide right here in the tree line, and you can walk in.
Okay.
And that way I can cover you with a bow.
So you're gonna be about 150 feet back. Which, are you using a short bow?
Yeah.
It's long range for a short bow, I believe.
Yep. So
Long range is disadvantage.
what I'll do is try and keep him within 80 feet of me.
Okay.
Sneaking.
There are near the road there's some broken fences, and near the fences there's some weeds, and you're a small enough guy that if you're going to roll stealth and you want to try to be hidden, that'd be the best place for you, and that would also keep you kind of near where Avo is going.
And that instead of just stealthing in the tree line, because I thought I'd be closer to him, I'll just stealth my way up there.
Sure. So Avo, you start marching down the hard dirt path. Go ahead and give me a stealth check as you're moving along behind him.
Nice.
That's a nat 20.
Nice. So you're using every little bit of shadow, high weeds, the broken fence to blend in as much as possible. Your cloak, I think you probably pull that up and around you in order to seem as much like shadow as you can. Avo, you march down the path, kind of winds through this field with knowing Theric is behind you, and you reach the village center.
Wait, you said there was a sign on it?
You're coming up on that sign. The sign is the village of Pendleton, which is Pendleton. Pendleton. So the village of Pendleton. That sign is worn by years of weathering. One of the latches or the chains on it has broken, so it kind of dangles and creaks a little bit and drifts in the wind. But as you get to that sign, it kind of opens up from where you're standing. The village proper is a total of eight buildings that form like a circle away from you. You'd be standing in where like the 9th building should be, but that's where the road comes in. So there's 8 buildings that kind of form a rough circle, and then in the center there is a well. which it looks like in disrepair. But the buildings that you're closest to, one of the buildings that you're closest to, the building to your right, looks to be, at one point it was probably a temple, but it's more of a shrine. It's not even meant to be enclosed. It's like a couple pillars, a roof, and then a crumbled statue. There's a metal offering bowl.
Of anyone in particular?
So you're going to move over and look around there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
18.
It is a shrine to the goddess Champion, but it is in disrepair. To your left is that blacksmith that Theric saw earlier. It looks like a large stone chimney. There's heavy stone foundation walls. Very little of that is made of wooden construction. Some of the roof is wooden construction, but part of that is also collapsed in. Looks like it has just fallen to weather. After the temple and the blacksmith, there are a total of 5 houses. They look like common townhouses. And then a large building at the far end, which looks to be a common hall for the village of Pendleton at one time. It's the largest building in town, kind of set as a block on one end of this circle. There's windows that look like they've been boarded over at some point. And the doors, it's a double door to the common hall, but one of the doors is off the hinges and kind of hangs at an odd angle and just dark inside from where you're standing. All of the other houses, you notice, and I think even from the distance about 80 feet back where Theric is, you both notice the houses, the doors, the windows, they're all boarded up on the 5 houses. And you got the well in the center. On your passive perception, Avo, you do notice there is a fresh blood stain on. It looks like a handprint that was dragged down and smeared on the well.
Okay, I'll go to inspect that.
Okay, so as you move into that circle of houses, Theric, are you going to stay in the field, or are you going to move into this area as well? Because as you see Avo starting to step into the center of town, starting to get some visual obstruction between the two of you.
Okay. The lantern, I can just don't have to light it, right? I can get the bird out of it, or no?
Correct. You don't have to light it.
So I want the canary to come out, and I want to be using the canary for perception.
Okay.
As I sneak closer to.
Okay. And in the dungeon when we did this, I described the canary as being clockwork and moving around. He's under your control now, so if you don't want him to be making noise while you're stealthing, he can just sit on your shoulder.
And okay.
That'll
that
still
works.
give you the perception bonus. So you take a second, you wind up the lantern. The canary hops out and just jumps up under your shoulder and maybe clicks a couple times. But you're doing a what check?
Stealth to get closer,
Okay.
but I want perception too as I look around.
Sure.
And with the canary, I get advantage.
So you're moving into the town a little bit as well, so you can keep an eye on Avo. Go ahead and give me a stealth check for that, using the building's natural
23.
shadows and the grown-up weeds between them for a little bit of cover. 23, yeah. You slide into the shadows and are as hidden as you believe you could possibly be. Avo, you reach the well, and you can see Avo in the center of this kind of a town circle. There's like a wooden capped well with a nice stone foundation, but it's all overgrown with moss, a little bit of dirt here and there, and part of the wooden cap has been collapsed in, and one of the cross pieces that would normally hold the winch has kind of fallen down and is resting on the wooden or on the stone basin. But you see this bloody handprint that looked like, from a distance, you saw the bright red. And when I say fresh, as you get closer, you're like, this was within the last few hours. at first you thought maybe something hit it and then slid down, but it looks more like something hit it and then went inside the well.
I'm going to move and
Peer into the well.
peek over the edge.
Okay. You peek over the edge. Go ahead and give me a perception check. It is bright out here and dark down there, so it's a little difficult to see.
23.
With a 23, you spend about a minute trying to get your eyes to adjust to the difference between the daylight and the gloom inside the well. With as low as that roof has fallen, you kind of like stick your head in to look around. It's difficult to get that moment where your eyes adjust. But about a minute goes by, and the first thing that you become aware of as you stare down into the well, you start to see like the ripple of water, just little reflections of light here and there. And then you don't see it, but you get the impression that something is looking up at you from in that well. And I'd like you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Of course, it's a wisdom saving throw. That is my worst one. 15.
A 15. You feel... You've been around magic for large portions of your life. Both living in the Feywild, you spent a lot of time in the temple. Some of it's been arcane, some of it's been divine. You know for the better part what magic feels like, and you feel this absolute terror and fear try to seep into your unconscious. You fight it off. You know your teeth grind together. You feel your muscles tense up. But for a moment, you were close to the edge of losing control of whatever is looking up at you is causing a crazy amount of terror.
Well, that's damn unfriendly. I'm going to back away from there.
Theric, from a little ways away, you would definitely notice this. Like Avo looking down in the well and then suddenly tenses up and steps back.
And readying my spear as well.
Okay.
I like arch an eyebrow and just kind of crouch down a little bit farther. Maybe I pull my bow out.
But, I mean, I'm looking around and backing away from the well.
So you step away, and your heart is kind of pounding in your throat. You can feel it. You hear it in your ears. There's a little bit of a light breeze. Somewhere in the distance, there's some birds, maybe some crows cawing. But both of you give me a perception check. And Theric, at your distance, I'm going to say with disadvantage. But you get advantage because of the canary.
I only got a 6.
I got an 11.
Okay. So you stand there for a moment, kind of gathering your calm. Your spear's leveled at this well, but nothing. A long moment goes by of just light breeze, sunlight slowly moving, the dappled clouds above.
I'm not comfortable with what's in there. At the same time, nothing's coming out of the well.
You don't see anything coming out of the well. You're not hearing anything. Seems whatever it is, if it is something.
I'm going to call out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Okay. You're calling it out, and are you looking around, or are you like focusing on the well?
I am looking around, but my main focus is the well.
Okay.
Just if I do happen to see movement somewhere else, then I'm sure. But no, my main focus is the well.
Okay. You call out hello rather loudly, loud enough to be heard, and your voice in the essentially empty village kind of echoes a little bit, bounces off the walls. You hear the crows kind of in the distance, maybe in the fields, kind of mocking you a little bit, calling back. And then after about a good minute of just waiting for a response, there is a crash, like a high-pitched crack, like somebody dropped something glass or ceramic in the large common room, the common hall at the end of the circle with the one door that's broken off. Something inside there fell after about 30 seconds to a minute of you calling out and shattered. It just...
That is... Where is that house?
So, when you first entered the village, there was a blacksmith to your left, there was a shrine to your right, then there was a total of 3 more houses on your left, 2 houses on your right, and at the far end of this circle, this oblong circle, is this common hall.
Okay.
So it's the furthest building into this village from the direction you entered.
Beyond the well.
Correct. The well sits in the center of all
Right.
of these buildings.
I'm going to move back to the blacksmith.
Okay. Theric, I'm going to say from the direction you came in, you're most likely to keep an eye on Avo between one of the houses and the shrine. You see him turn and start heading back towards what's clearly a blacksmith's building.
I'll just stay where I am.
Okay.
I'm not turning, I'm backing.
Backing away. Okay. And I think that you would notice that as well, Theric, that he's... You don't know what he's experienced, but whatever it is got his
I look over my shoulder.
his edge up. Okay. What are you looking for?
I don't know. I'm kind of scared. I don't know what's going on.
Do you want to
looking
look
for
around where
anything.
you're at?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to... So let me ask. Perception is basically to notice something. Investigation is more to try to figure something out.
I don't know what's going on. I just know that he's acting really weird, so I'm trying to see if I can figure out what it is. But so it's kind of either or, because if there's anything out of place, then it'd be perception.
Give me
But
give
at
me
the
a
same
perception.
time,
Insight
it's
is reading people.
Insight is reading people.
But
Yeah,
there-
if you wanted to read Avo, you could do that as well.
I'll do perception.
Okay, give me a perception check
I
as
have
you
advantage
look
on
around while Avo backs away from the well.
22. Yeah, 22.
You're watching Avo back away from the well. You definitely notice the bloody handprint on the well as well. That's a weird way. You notice it on the well in addition to. Beyond the bloody handprint on the well, you kind of scan left and right, wondering what's going on. And you're kind of tucked in the shadow of a old wood, not a woodshed, but like an overhang where they would have stacked wood next to a house. It's for the most part empty. But you do see, as you glance over at the house, you can see the front of the house kind of angles away from you a little bit. And the door and the window that is on the front of the building are all boarded over, nailed in. You can see one of the boards looks like it's been tried to be pulled off, and you see claw marks kind of scouring the boards and the door. Avo, you're continuing to back away. You reach the large blacksmith's building with the partially collapsed roof on the one side. There is a door, looks like it's a double door, top and bottom, that would open up. But what would you like to do?
It's closed.
It's closed at the moment.
Okay.
And this building does not look boarded up.
Give it a test to see if the door will open.
Okay, it has been unused for quite some time, so it's a little bit stuck. You don't think it's locked. It just might take like an athletics check to open it up.
Okay.
You might have to use a little bit of muscle and some leverage. But yeah, go ahead and give me an athletics check. And Theric, while you're watching Avo do this, what's going through your mind?
What's the distance between the blacksmith and where the noise came from?
where the common hall is, maybe 100 feet, 150 feet at most.
I'm going to fly up to the roof
Okay.
and flutter from roof to roof to make my way closer to the common hall.
Okay. Yeah, that's only it's literally 3 buildings away, counting the one you're at. Are you trying to maintain stealth?
Yes.
Okay, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult
Yep.
because you're going to be up top, but you can do that. What'd you get on your athletics check?
I got a 14.
14. So it does open, but with a loud squealing noise. Like the rusted hinges kind of really don't want to open, but you do manage to push it till it opens up enough, and you see like just the rays of sun come in. They catch some of the dust in the air, and you see the darkened interior of what was at one point a blacksmith. And there is a collapsed roof in the room that you've opened up, so you see a little bit of light filtering in there. A lot of water damage from years of rain coming in here, but there's barrels and boxes. There's a cold forge. There's a ruined bellows that has rotted away over time. Hammers that have rusted, but there's a lot of stuff in that building if you wanted to go in.
I do want to take a little closer look.
Okay.
It's a blacksmith. Is there anything left over that is useful?
Okay. So you can give me an investigation check. What did you get on your stealth?
I didn't roll yet.
Okay.
What I'm doing though is roof, stop, look around, roof, stop, look around. You know, because you said I have 3 roofs.
Right.
So I'm gonna, and I can't move that far. Obviously, trying to stealth. So that's my plan is to try and stay hidden the whole time.
Okay.
My investigation's not so good. I got a 9.
Okay. All right.
So I fly to the roof of the first house. I have a 16 stealth, and then I want to look around.
Okay, we're going to maintain that stealth for this maneuver because it's all the same thing.
Yep, that's fine.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
With advantage because of the canary?
Yep.
How long has the canary been out for?
I would say maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It didn't take you that long to walk over here.
I got a 10.
Okay. You're scanning around. I think you're distracted a little bit by the noise that Avo just made as he opened the door. But you're not seeing anything unusual, nothing that seems dangerous as you move from the first building to the second building. Avo, in the building, as you step in, you do lose sight, Theric. You lose sight of Avo as he steps into the darkened blacksmith. And you're starting to hear like things being moved around as Avo's tossing the building for any valuables. Avo, you find a rusty longsword. It is a longsword. It is not in great repair, so you're not sure how long it will last before it breaks, but it is better than nothing, I suppose.
My spear is just as...
Yep.
Well...
There are also a number of rusty tools, but beyond that, that's the most interesting thing you find in there based on your investigation check. Yep, a rusty longsword. And just so you know, what I mean when I say rusty, it will act as a longsword, but it will have a potential for failure every use.
Snap.
I'm just gonna leave the longsword.
Okay. At this point, Theric, you've made it to the building next to the common hall. Okay. You land there. You start to look around. Give me another perception check now that you're at a different vantage point.
17.
You see movement and a humanoid form. You see arms, legs, torso, head. It's in shadow inside the common hall, moving towards the door, but it's not quite there yet, and it's moving slowly.
I will keep my eyes on it, draw my bow, knock an arrow, and just wait.
Okay. Yeah, your movement there takes less time than it takes for Avo to search the blacksmith. So
I'm
you're still
waiting.
hearing things. So around the time that you, Avo, have found this longsword, determined that this is pretty much all that there is in this place. Over time, the
You said there are blacksmith tools as well?
rusty blacksmith tools. Yeah.
No, like a hammer or anything?
Yep, there's like a hammer. It would be like
Still worse, just as bad or worse condition?
Yeah, just as bad or worse condition. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with anything in here then.
Okay. Around the time that you finished up your search, Theric, You hear Avo stop searching. You hear the clanging and banging around inside that building stop. It's not like he was making a ton of noise, but just small noises, and there's not a lot in this place. So it does stand out to you with your perception. Around that time, coming into the sunlight, you see your first thought is like a farmer. But it takes only a moment for you to realize he's not moving right, he's not walking right, like he's got like a listless drag to one of his feet. You can see like the skin on his face on one side has been removed, like torn off, and you just see like cheekbone on one side. One of his eyes is gone, and part of his scalp has been ripped off. And you see what you believe to be a undead creature stumbling into the sunlight, looking towards the blacksmith.
Nah, he's just had a bad day.
Just kind of...
So from my studies in Arcana, can I make a check to see if I know what it is?
Yeah. Yep.
That too. 25.
You believe this to be a zombie, which is a low form of undead creature that you have heard of. You've never had any personal experiences with them. You know, based on what you've rolled, you know that they are durable. They're made by necromantic magic, and usually when they're raised, they're the foot soldiers of that version of magic.
The first thing I want to do is look around and see if we see any more movement.
As he comes into the sunlight, your perception check, what you've already made, was high enough that you also are starting to hear, almost on cue as he steps into the sunlight, you're starting to hear movement in the house that you're standing on and the house that you jumped off of. So where you're at, it sounds like there's a lot of movement coming all of a sudden, all in concert.
So I pull the arrow back and I'm going to shoot at the zombie in the middle of the square.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. Avo, did you decide to take the longsword?
I did not.
Okay, as you set the longsword back down where you found it, or just set it back down on one of the benches, you hear the twang of Theric's bow and a whistle of an arrow.
10.
From outside.
Okay.
A 10 will hit with a wet, meaty thump.
I'm going to rush back outside.
Okay.
10.
Okay. You do get sneak attack. He didn't know you were there.
15.
15 total?
Yep.
Okay. He staggers back underneath the arrow to his chest, which, I mean, it's sticking out just above his clavicle. Like, you would, if any higher, you'd definitely say throat. He staggers back, gives out like a low moan, and then looks up towards you. And then you hear the door of the building that you're standing on smash open. As more of these low moans start to fill the air. You see across the way, the other three houses, doors and windows start to smash open as more of these things start to pour out of the every possible exit to every building. And you're seeing 5, 10, maybe 15 of these zombies starting to swarm out of these buildings. You look over as you see Avo step out of the blacksmith. Avo, you're seeing undead creatures in every building swarming out and looking around. Some of them are looking up towards Theric now. Some of them are shambling towards you. What would you like to do? And you see one of them with an arrow sticking out of it.
Theric, I think this was a mistake. How about we head south? As I'm exiting the area, the center of the...
Around then, one of the a zombie comes from around the edge of the blacksmith.
Okay.
So it looks like your exits are few and far between at this point. There are a lot in front of you. There might be a few behind you as well.
Bet you wish you could fly.
Okay, so...
There are buildings, if you tried to climb, you could get a higher vantage.
Meet me at the first house. And I Is it initiative or?
Yeah, we'll roll initiative. There are between you and that house that Theric just yells out about. There's 4 zombies.
I'm just thinking, he can fly.
Yeah.
But if I were to go back along the side of the blacksmith,
Right. If you were going to try to run out
how
of
many zombies are in my way there?
There's one
Okay.
right now trying to stop you from getting out of the village.
Okay. All right. So it's initiative.
It is initiative. Yep.
Well, that's
What'd you get?
6.
You got a 6. Theric?
8.
Okay. Shockingly,
The zombies are going first.
they are going first. They're not real fast, but
But we got some.
you guys did not roll super great. Even with their -2 to their initiative, they still get a 12. So,
Give them -2.
one of the zombies that was coming around the blacksmith lunges towards you, Avo,
Okay.
and tries to grab you. Which, Theric, you can see this happening. You're turning and yelling to meet at the first building. You see the zombie try to grab. Not slam, not claw. Literally grab. So it's going to be an opposed athletics check.
And aren't zombies usually stupid?
They are, based on what you know. He's got a 13 in athletics.
Got 20.
Okay, you feel the hands, these like rotted hands with some of the fingertips have been worn off and are down to just claws or finger bones that are sticking out. Kind of dig into your tunic, kind of grab at your clothing, try to pull away or to pull you towards them. You manage to push off of them, and they don't find purchase on you. But they are standing next to you. There are probably 2 more that are going to be on you if you stay where you are.
Okay.
But that is all of the. I'm going to say that a total of 8 of them are moving towards Avo. A total of 6 more are starting to circle the building that you're on currently. There. But that's all that happens is most of them move. One of them was close enough to attack you, but tried to grab you, did not manage to do so.
Was that the one that was blocking my way moved in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then it is Theric's turn.
I take aim on the one that I already hit,
Okay.
and I'm gonna try and put another arrow in him, and then fly to the next building.
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
12.
12 does hit.
10 more points. And I fly to the building, making my way towards. Actually, I can fly to the 2 buildings over, so I'll fly to the first building, which goes 30 feet.
You see the arrow, the second arrow strikes that zombie, and he kind of staggers a little bit, and then stands back up and continues to move. After your arrow flies, you leap into the air, fly to the next building, and land.
And
So
that was
you're
the building I told him to go.
correct. Yep.
Okay.
So you're on the first building that you notice the claw marks on, which has been busted open at this point, and zombies have poured out of it. It's Avo's turn.
So, just a rough estimate, I'm seeing 10, 20, 30 more.
You're thinking somewhere between 15 and 20, and it looks like there's still some movement in some of the buildings.
There's one directly on me?
Also, where you're at, actually both of you give me a perception check. You're near the edge trying to get out, and you're flying, so I want both of you to do perception checks.
23.
1.
There's movement in the field around the town of things
So-
coming up out of the dirt.
So even if I were to get past this,
You'd be in the open field.
where there are many
It
more...
looks like there are many places in this area that are. Yeah, I mean, you can try. You're fast. You're fast. You can tell that based on their speed, you're faster than these things are. But it would be difficult.
Hey, we know why this little crossbones is here now.
No shit. Alright, I am going to use use my...
But I will say on the perceptions that you made, you see about 15. There's probably 20 within the town. There's at least that many out in the fields.
But there's only one directly on me, right?
Only one directly on you right now.
Okay.
There's probably 4 more that will be there soon.
Okay. From the town side or from the field side?
From the town side.
Okay.
The field side are further away. And you think that, like, if you were out in the fields, you might have an easier time evading them. You might have to make some checks to evade them.
Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna have sort of Walking Dead.
Right? I am going to use my attack action to shove
Okay.
the zombie.
So it's an opposed check. He's got a 13 again.
Yeah, crushed him. I got a 25.
Okay. So shove. I believe this is.
You can choose to either shove him 5 feet away or knock him down.
Which would you like to do?
I just want to knock him down.
Okay.
Or wait. Actually, 5 feet away is fine.
Okay. I was gonna say if you knock him down, he can still take an
still-
attack of opportunity on you. So you shove him 5 feet away. You just kind of lean into him, push hard. He staggers
then-
back. Maintains his footing.
And then I'm moving my full movement away out of the town.
Out into the field.
Yes. Out the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go running down the road away from town as they start to come towards you. You are faster than them. So for the moment, this next round, you will not have anybody on you as the 4, I'm going to say now a total of 6, are starting to follow you out of town. You can see, just to get back to the tree line, it looks like there's probably going to be 4 or 5 in your way, but you might not have to fight them based on the checks that you want to make. If you want to try to evade them, you might be able to. It just might take some athletics to race and run with each other. That is all of their movement. On the first house, Theric, as you glance back, as you land on the first house that you landed on, the first one that they started to surround, where you just jumped away, you do see one of the zombies clambering up on top. Not standing on each other's shoulders, but just climbing the building. But they're also
interlocking their fingers to give
Give him the boost.
give him a boost up on the.
But there are still 4 that have tracked you and are following you based on where you're currently at. And you do see Avo running out into the path between the fields.
Okay. I'm going to. How long will it take me to take a piece of Yeti fur and wrap around all my arrows?
I'll say that'll be an action. It'll be the action this turn.
Okay. And then how far is it to the blacksmith?
From where you're at, like 50 feet.
I fly towards the blacksmith.
Okay.
I just hop off the water 30 feet towards the
Okay,
blacksmith.
so you're in midair at this point then.
Yep.
Okay, Avo, you are racing away from town. I'm going to say at this point you don't know where Theric is. He told you where he was going, but you also know that he can fly.
I was about to say he can fly, so I'm not concerned he's going to be.
Right. And Theric, just for clarification, you didn't go up. You're going straight towards the blacksmith, so you're maybe 25 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you're racing away from town. There are a few that are trying to block your way. They're moving to intercept you.
I'm doing my best to avoid them.
Okay, give me an athletics check, DC 15, to kind of juke past the 2 that are nearest you.
15?
Mm-hmm.
14.
Okay, do you want to use anything? Or you want to not use
Inspiration.
it? You do have inspiration. It's up to you.
There's 2?
There's 2 that are closing the intercept you. And then there's 2 more further out if you get tied up with them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is a reroll, take this roll, is what
Right.
this is. So DC 15.
Same exact roll.
Okay.
All right.
So you try to dodge around the hard-packed dirt. Does shift underneath your feet, makes it so that you can't quite get the purchase as you try to jump around to get away from these things that they're trying to intercept you. you do end up locked in combat with two of them. That was your movement and action. Do you have any bonus action?
I will use my Misty Step to go beyond them.
There you go. That'll get you past these two. There'll still be two that could possibly intercept you. So you all of a sudden, this is the first time you've used Misty Step.
It is.
What does it look like?
Just like it sounds.
Okay, so there's just...
Fade into mist and then reapparate.
So you literally fade into mist. Your
Yes.
body just turns to mist, and then mist forms somewhere else instantly, and you just step out of there. Nice. Okay. So you, realizing that little stumble of foot left you exposed to these two, you jump past them with Misty Step. The two that were trying to grab you, I think you look back and you see the two of them grabbing at the mist that is slowly dissipating, like trying to lunge at it. Back in the village, as you're flying towards the blacksmith, something happens that you are fully unprepared for, Theric. As what you know about zombies, you rolled a very high number as far as... Yeah, one of them, not even a rock, one of them just picks up a broken shingle that was on the ground and hurls it at you. A total of two of them are going to be throwing things, just basically debris from town come whipping up into the air towards you. The first one will miss wildly. You can tell they're not dexterous creatures, they just kind of... Ugh. The second one comes flying up, also misses wildly, but you're now getting debris flying past you. And a total of 8 are trying to follow the direction you're heading. They're going towards the blacksmith. And from your vantage, you can see Avo out in the field has dodged around 2 of the zombies and has got 2 more to go before he's truly free of the danger. And it will be back to your turn.
So based on what I'm seeing, though, are these... They're smart zombies. Or smarter. I mean, do they look like they have intelligence, or do they look like they're just...
They don't look like they have intelligence, and what you know is the only reason they should be behaving the way they are is if something's directing them. Something or someone.
I'm not directing them. Don't point at me.
Theric, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I want to figure out what's directing the zombies. So
I haven't seen this.
I know. But I am going to glance around.
Tell you what, you've still got the canary out,
Uh-huh.
and you want to know what's causing this. Give me a perception check.
With advantage or without?
With advantage. You just said you want to look around.
I just didn't know if it would take my action.
This isn't
going to
take your action to look.
Or
Nope, you're looking around while you're moving. It's not going to take your action.
well, I rolled the same number on both dice.
Okay. Are they good numbers?
14.
14, you desperately look around as you're flying towards the blacksmith, trying to figure out what could be causing this, what could be directing them, and you do see for a moment the reflection of sunlight in eyes from underneath the shadow of the well, where the roof of the well is collapsed. You just see eyes reflect sunlight for a moment, but you don't see what it is.
Oh, wow. And how far away am I? I'm not that far from the
You're
well.
not that far from the well, maybe 20 feet.
But I can't see it anymore. I just saw him for a
You
second.
just saw a moment of reflection. And underneath the actual cover of the well, it's just darkness underneath there.
Okay. So what I am going to do is I am going to fly to the blacksmith shop,
Okay.
and there's nothing flammable in the well, right?
The wooden top of the well.
So
It's made of wood.
how far away? How far away am I?
20 feet from the well. It's made of
When I
that
land
part is
on
made
the-
of wood.
When I land on the,
About 35 feet from the well when you land on the
so I'm
blacksmith.
closer to it when I'm.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter. So I land on the blacksmith shop,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw it coming from below, and I go like this, and a bolt of fire appears in my hand, and I hurl it at the wooden part of the well.
Okay. Are you casting a spell?
Firebolt.
Okay.
You hurl a bolt of fire at a creature or object within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target, but it's an object, so it's going to be.
It says creature or object?
Yes.
Okay.
On a hit, the target takes a d10 fire damage. A flammable object hit by this spell ignites if it isn't being worn or carried.
Okay. Give me an attack roll, armor class of 10.
22.
Okay. So you call a bit of fire into your hands. Now, first time you've cast the spell as well. What color is your fire?
It's purple.
Purple fire? Okay, so it kind of appears above your hand, crackling. You hurl it across the distance. It streaks over, splashes against the wooden top of the well, and begins to light it on fire. You see the well kind of smoke and cinder and pop a little bit, and it looks like it's begun to catch fire.
Well, that's my action.
Okay. So, Theric, you land on the blacksmith, toss the fire at the well. It begins to burn. The roof of the well begins to burn. I think based on the perception that you just made as well, you hear an angry hiss over the general groans and moans of the zombies. But then, Avo, you're out in the field with only 2 more zombies between you and the tree line, which will at least get you out of...
Which direction does this road go? Does it go back towards the forest that we came out of, or does it go in a different direction?
So it's, when we say a road, we're being really generous. It's a path between 2 fields that leads to the tree edge that you
Okay,
came
so
from.
it does lead back to where we came from.
Yes. It's just a path between 2 fields that leads to where you came from.
All right.
And there's 2 zombies trying to get to you. So again, this would be another athletics check, DC 15, to get past them.
20.
Okay. Yeah, with that, you kind of fake to the left. Both zombies lunge towards you. You circle around quickly, maybe vault over one of the broken fences, and are free from their claws for the moment, out into the woods, running past the first few trees, the thorn bushes, and into the paths, the winding paths that brought you there. Back to the zombies in town and the burn. The zombies, there are now 3 of them throwing things at you as you are on the roof of the blacksmith. I'm going to say that you're going to have some partial cover, though, because I think that would be easy for you to do just based on the lay of the chimney and the roof. So I'm going to give you a little bit better armor class than normal, but there's going to be 3 things come whistling up. One does hit a 14.
Miss.
Okay. Just bricks, rocks, sticks, broken shingles, boards come whipping up past you. You see zombies just kind of throwing with 2 hands. One zombie does start to climb the edge of the blacksmith towards you, trying to get closer to you. And you hear, or more feel, a magical incantation that extinguishes that fire. You see the fire just immediately snuff out. Then it is your turn.
Well, I don't want to mess with whatever that is. And I just run to the back of the blacksmith and double move, fly to the tree line.
Okay, so you are at this point are free of the danger. You're going to just try to catch up with Avo. We're going to drop out of initiative because there's no way for these things to catch you. And Avo, do you continue away from this area? Like, once you hit the tree line, they haven't stopped. They're trying to follow you, but your speed will...
If I can still see them trying to follow me, then I'm going to continue on.
Okay. Yeah, so you continue on. I will say after about 5 to 10 minute run, you fully lost them, and Avo or Theric, you were seconds behind. You are right there with Avo, and the 2 of you are probably about a good half mile to 3/4 of a mile away from the town, with no more sounds of pursuit behind you. You think that the zombies that were following you have given up, and you're catching your breath in the deep shade of the trees.
That was downright unnatural.
Something was controlling them. It was in the well.
There was something in the well with magic.
Yeah, I definitely
Tried to
agree.
it tried to do something with my mind.
I lit the well on fire, and it put it out. It had purple eyes, was it? Red eyes? I mean, flash of eyes?
Really
I guess
catch
I
a
didn't
color.
really
You just
see
saw
the...
a reflection of light.
We're going to have to go back there and clean that town out sometime, maybe.
We have no idea. That was tons of zombies.
Yeah, if
Like
you had to take a
40
wild
maybe?
guess, you somewhere around 40 zombies.
You just learned some magic. You know any, like, fireball spells? Because that's I don't know, it's a little beyond my punch amount.
Are we going to
Skills.
make our way a wide berth around the town and go down towards the weapon, the dagger thing, or are we going to go back to Novasana? I mean, what do you want to do? I got nowhere to be, so I can go look for some herbs, maybe make some potions.
And we can give that town a wide berth.
Around when you say that, not the direction of the town, the direction you were coming from, a man steps out from behind a tree, maybe 10 or 15 feet from you, and levels a strange device at you. You're not sure exactly what it is. You've never seen one of these before. But for descriptive sake, it is a blunderbuss with a wide mouth. Steps out from around a tree. You see he's kind of like shaggy beard. He's got his hair pulled back into a long braid on the back of his head. Kind of a heavy set upper body, heavy muscular man. Steps out with this blunderbuss, points at you.
I've never seen a firearm before.
I don't think you've ever seen a firearm before. Tell you what, give me just you've spent some time in the military. Give me, do you have a history skill?
I do.
Give me a history check.
A 13.
13. You have a general idea of what this is. You know that it is a weapon of some sort that launches a rock or a pellet of some sort. You don't know specifics. But he steps out. You did not hear him approach. Neither of you heard him approach, based on your passive perceptions. He steps out, levels this thing at the two of you, and he says, when you said, I think we give that place a wide berth, he steps on and he says, that might not be the way things go, lads. My employer would like to have a word with you. This has been Gen XP. Thanks for listening. Catch you next week.